This is just a short video of us showing you around the map and giving you an overview on where everything's placed and what it looks like, really. So as you can see, we've got a small like harbor town village, which is where we got most of the assets from it. Oskar sourced them from a low poly Viking world from the Epic Games and Unreal Marketplace, as we needed something to populate the area. Um, yeah, so as you can see, it's like a little cove area. It's got a nice little village, and off to the right of it is where you would have, it's where the shooting gallery is, and then off to the left is where we have our ghost shooting. And as you can see, next to that blue ship, the tall tower, that is the church. Now, later down the line, we would intend that to be the spell practicing location, as you would be able to enter the church, practice your spells, and hone your skills with them. As you can see, many particle effects. We've got a waterfall in the background. Now that white house is the house Martin made, and we've got a little well area that the players can walk around. That's the shooting gallery.
For this project, I made this house using a selection of house pieces that I made so that I can piece them together in different ways and create several different houses. This is another example of one of the houses I made. I sourced some of these materials for these houses from Necro's materials pack from Unreal Marketplace, and the rest from the default selection of materials that you can find in Unreal Engine. This barrel is something I also made that can be used to decorate the area and place around. This bucket is also something I made that can be placed near the waterfronts and the wells. This platforms with stairs was also quickly made to be used as part of the shooting area.
The game contains two challenges. After starting the event, player has 60 seconds to score as many points as possible, completing the contract task. Every attempt score is stored in the board that shows 5 of the most recent attempts of related challenge. Also, player receives coins for each score point, or amount of coins depends on the target type. Headhunter challenge also has loss condition. This challenge ends once the ghost reaches the light, or 1 minute after the start. To make challenges harder and less predictable, target spawners use different spawn locations. Here you can see an example. This solution gives us 256 different spawn variations. To grab players' attention, some UI elements use frame-by-frame animations. To run and control them, instead of image, certain UI elements use material with instance editable sprite sheet and speed values. These values can be edited either in the material instance or through the script, which makes it very flexible, allowing us to run animation backwards or stop it. In general, the game interface turned out to be quite advanced in some places, with broad use of various techniques and blueprints.
Hi, I'm Archie, and this is what I was doing in the Eldritch Tides project for this year. I made 2 spells mainly, which the characters can use in different circumstances around the game. The first one I made is a ooze spell, which is when you throw it, it creates an area effect which would theoretically slow down the enemy and possibly making them slip, which would allow for easier shots to be taken. I used the input key as the number 2, that's just how you throw the ooze spell. This is the line of code that activates the throwing ability for the ooze spell. So you click the number 2, it adds the velocity depending on how fast the ooze spell will be thrown. And then after a short delay of 1.5 seconds, it will spawn the decal at the actor's location and then destroy the ooze spell, creating that splash effect. I made this simple image in Photoshop and I made it look like a splash effect, so the decal would look more like a splash radius. This is that same image being used in the decal. I made it green, so like a slimy type green color. I used the decal for the shape, or the image for the decal shape. Then I used this texture sample from a puddle to make it look more liquidy and sludge-like. My second spell was the flashbang. So you throw it out. If you're looking directly at it, you get a more severe flash. If you throw it out and look away, you get a more subdued flash. So it gives players an opportunity to avoid the full effect if an enemy throws it out. Once again, I used a keybind of a number just to activate it. This is where I calculated the flashbang timer and effect. The main thing about the flashbang is this function, that angle from flash. So if the players were staring directly at it, they get the full effect, and if they were looking away, they get a subdued effect, as I showed previously. And this flash track, all it is that the flash effect lasts for 1 second, then gradually fades out. So it's not just a sheer cut from the flash, it's more of a gradual disappearance. This line of code is very similar to throwing the ooze bomb. The only difference is the speed of velocity and the fact that the flash orb or the fireball doesn't enable gravity, so it's more like a flowing orb the players can send out instead of a bottle that has gravity and would fall to the ground. And it has a short delay before the flashbang happens, and then when the flashbang happens, the fireball gets deleted. This is how I made that fireball. It's a relatively simple panning texture material that I made. Simple things like if I reduce this, the dark spots on it get darker, and if I increase this, the light spots get lighter, just to make it more like a plasma lava ball type thing that you could throw out, just so it looks more magical than a grenade, for instance.